Hi, you're very welcome to this webinar on postgraduate programs offered by the School of Biological and Health Sciences at TU Dublin's City campus. My name is Greg Byrne. I'm a lecturer in clinical immunology and I'm the program chair for our MSc in clinical laboratory science. So I'm going to talk to you today about two programs offered by our school in the area of medical science. So briefly, just in case anyone is not familiar with who medical scientists are and what they do. Medical scientists are individuals that work in hospital laboratories and they receive human specimens from patients. So we might be talking about blood, we could be talking about tissue samples. And those samples must be tested, and the results of those tests inform what doctors do. So, in fact, the majority of decisions that are made by doctors are made based on the results that are produced by medical scientists. So, it's an extremely important career. And I think that's been made even more obvious in recent years during the ongoing pandemic, because so many medical scientists have been carrying out so many COVID tests. So just to give you an idea of the different disciplines of medical science on the right-hand side there, you can see that there are 6 of them. So first of all, we have transfusion science, and transfusion science is associated with the collection, testing, processing, and preparation of blood and blood products. Over on the right, we see hematology, which is concerned with disorders in the blood, such as anemias or leukemias. We have cellular pathology, which focuses on tissues and liquid samples containing cells, so perhaps looking at tumor samples for markers of cancers. We have clinical chemistry, which is involved in measuring lots of different factors, including, say, cholesterol or glucose in the blood. My own discipline, clinical immunology, is concerned with allergy, immunodeficiency, and autoimmunity. And finally, medical microbiology is where all of those COVID tests have been taking place. These guys are concerned with infectious agents such as bacteria and viruses and fungi, so diagnosing people with infections. So we'll start with the MSc in Clinical Laboratory Science, and the program code there is TU287. So this is a part-time master's program, which is taught over 2 years, and it's aimed towards people that are already practicing as medical scientists and other individuals working in related industries, such as the in vitro diagnostics industry. So as I say, most of our students are already medical scientists, and this program is designed by medical scientists for medical scientists. And the idea here is to provide practicing medical scientists with the skills that they need to progress their careers and to move into more senior positions. And when I say made for medical scientists by medical scientists, what I mean is we have the majority of the staff that teach on the program are themselves qualified and experienced medical scientists. So they have years and years of experience to pass on to our students. Our program also has dual accreditation, so it's accredited by the Academy of Clinical Laboratory Science, which is the Irish professional body representing medical scientists, as well as the Institute of Biomedical Science, which is the UK equivalent. So we're accredited by those two professional bodies. And this program is taught using a blended model, which means that some of the program is taught online, which is very convenient for people that are working full-time already, but a significant amount of it is taught on a face-to-face basis. And from talking to our own students, they tell us that the face-to-face teaching is an important selling point for this program, that they get to interact directly with our lecturers and the many experienced professional guest lecturers that we bring in from clinical laboratories and also some clinicians as well. So there's fantastic experience there to pass on to our students. So what does it look like? The program looks like this. Students take 7 core modules. So everybody takes these 7 core modules. And these include 2 very important modules on management. And this is really important for our medical scientists. They cover things like human resources, quality systems, project management, automation, and all these topics are extremely important to prepare graduates for leadership roles in the modern clinical diagnostic service. Then students also have a fantastic opportunity to select 2 out of 8 possible specialist discipline modules. What this means is if you are coming from a microbiology laboratory, you can select 2 modules of microbiology to focus on and gain lots of extra knowledge in your particular area of interest. And all students carry out a substantial laboratory-based research project. So research project is hosted by the lab in which you work, and obviously is a great part of your professional development. And we also provide modules that support this in terms of research skills, statistics, and data analysis. So this graph here, or this slide here, will give you an idea of exactly what the program looks like. So here are all of these core topics. We have research methods and biostatistics, a full module on cell biology and immunology, which is an update module to get everyone up to speed on current topics in cell biology and immunology. Advanced diagnostics to talk about some of the new high-tech methods that are used to diagnose disease. Here's those two all-important laboratory management modules that I mentioned earlier. We also have a very important module as well here on point-of-care testing, sometimes referred to as near-patient testing, which has been a very big growth area in recent years, and also a module on bioinformatics and data analysis. So every student does these modules, and they amount for 40 credits of the total program. So here are our specialist modules. So students get to choose one of the modules shown in green and one of the modules shown in red. So there's a huge choice here and crossing a wide range of different topics. So we have clinical immunology, my own area of interest. We have microbial pathogenicity and diagnostics, advances in cellular pathology and clinical cytology, benign hematology and hemostasis. In the second block of options, we have hematological neoplasms and lymphoma, advanced clinical chemistry, transfusion science and transplantation, and healthcare-associated infection and antimicrobial resistance. So what this means is 20 credits of the 90 credits that make up the program are selected by the student. And then finally, the laboratory research project provides the final 30 credits, and the students produce a substantial research thesis and also a manuscript at the end of that project. So lots and lots of experience there, both in terms of professional development and what it is to be a professional medical scientist, but also some research skills and ancillary skills that will stand to anyone in their career. So that's the MSc in Clinical Laboratory Science. So the final two programs I want to talk about here are related. As I've mentioned, of course, the medical science is an extremely important profession, and up until recently, there was only really one way to get into the profession, and that was to complete one of three possible undergraduate BSc programs available in Ireland. And we in TU Dublin provide one of those three programs. But there was no other direct way into the profession in recent years. Because of this and the shortage at the moment of medical scientists, we have responded to that demand by developing our higher diploma in medical science. So this is essentially a graduate entry program to qualify people to work in the profession. So this is a little bit different in its structure, and particularly because it starts in January. Most of the programs in TU Dublin will start in September at the beginning of our academic calendar. This program starts in January, so that's worth noting that applications go up until November of each calendar year. So we offer this program on a full-time basis or a part-time basis, so there's flexibility here. We'll start on the left with the full-time basis, which is coded TU888. So it's a 2-year program full-time. In order to apply, you must have a bachelor's degree in biological science or some related discipline with a minimum grade of a 2.2. And ideally, candidates should have some experience in a clinical laboratory, but that is not essential to apply. Any program that allows people to become a medical scientist requires a full 1,000-hour-long placement in a hospital laboratory where you get lots of experience in all of the different disciplines of medical science. And in this case, we provide you with an opportunity to have a placement in a partner hospital. On the right-hand side, if we look at the part-time equivalent program, it's a 3-year program, so it's a little bit longer because it's part-time, and it works on a 2-day-a-week release basis. The same requirements to enter are there, so you must have a 2.2 in a related degree. But in this case, students must already be working as a lab aide in a clinical laboratory. So the reason for this is that any applicants coming into the part-time program must get a letter of support from their line manager that they will work with us to train this individual. And their 30-week placement, this 1,000 hours in the professional laboratories, will be sponsored by the lab that individual already works in. So that's slightly different. So on the left, we will provide the placement. On the right, the individual must already be working as a laboratory aide. So if we look briefly at the structure of the two programs, just to give you an idea, As I said, they start in January. So for the full-time program, you start in year one. You'll note that there is a professional practice module all the way through these programs. And this is extremely important because it supports students with extra skills required for the profession. Things like ethics, data protection, teamwork, accountability, and the importance of evidence-based medicine. And you'll see in semester one of year one, students learn a little bit about every one of the 6 disciplines of medical science: cellular pathology, clinical chemistry, hematology, medical microbiology, transfusion science, and immunology. In semester two, they begin their placement so that 1,000 hours of clinical placement and is supported by a professional practice module that happens through semester two of year one and into semester one of year two. And then finally, in semester two of year two, they have modular option one and two. And what this means is students get to choose two of the disciplines of medical science that they prefer, and they get to learn more about those particular subjects. Students are qualified to work in any lab once they graduate, but they can choose to focus on particular disciplines of interest. And they also carry out a research methods module. And now the part-time version, a little bit longer, of course, because it's done on a 2-day release basis. We can see that in year one, semester one, students study 3 of the topics of medical science and have a professional practice module. In semester two, they carry out 2 parts of their placement: clinical chemistry and transfusion. In semester one of year two, 3 more of the medical science disciplines are taught. In semester two, 2 more of the placement rotations, this time in medical micro and hematology. In semester one of year three, we see the cellular pathology placement and a research methods module. And finally, in semester two of year three, they can select once again 2 modular options, discipline areas of medical science in which they can specialize. Okay, so everyone, I hope you found that interesting. It's a really exciting career, and people are very eager to get into medical science. It's a really interesting profession with lots of opportunities to further your development and advance your career. So, any questions or queries about any of these programs can be directed to our school email address, biological.sciences@tudublin.ie, or you can even contact me directly, greg.byrne@tudublin.ie. Thanks very much for your attention.